What's going on here? Fire Sadek here. I'm doing this PSA because it's most needed, because probably the most important and game changing event has just taken place, as it was reported that was going to happen, and that is Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates about 5.5 base points. And this hasn't happened since 2020 or somewhere, around in that area. And this is huge because this is going to, change the landscape in this society more so than anywhere else. And if you're looking at the screen, you'll see why. And I got some precepts over on my notepad. We're going to go over there in a minute. But yeah, look at this. Store closing, 90% off. Last 2 days. You're going to see, if you haven't already been, and you can't say that you haven't seen signs like this or similar, advertisements of, we got all these sales going and we're going out of business and this and that and the other. Well, up until now, everybody's been, I don't have any money. My credit cards are maxed out and I done depleted my 401k and, ever since the pandemic and why, and this and that and the other. I'm working 2 or 3 jobs and I just can't seem to make ends meet and woe is me and all this. Okay, well, now that this guy has dropped the interest rates, oh man, I can hear the celebrations nationwide. Woo, yeah, boy. Hey, he saved us. He's thinking about the little man and this, here, that, and the other. But is he really? Look at this. I mean, really look at this. Supply is quickly going to be depleted, while at the same time, demand is quickly going to increase. And that's going to cause a lot of problems. A whole lot of problems. We got all these new people, flooding into this country and everything, and as if that hasn't already put a strain on supply. Well, we're getting ready to go through some things. I mean, I'm just going to put it like that, because that's really what this is about, supply and demand. So without further ado, and I'm not going to keep y'all long with this, let's go over here to the notepad and let's see what this is really about. All right, let's start this out with Ecclesiasticus, which is in the Apocrypha. Y'all gonna have to do your own research on that, because I'm getting tired of talking about that. But before everybody got martyred and everything, this was part of the King James Bible. So, like I said, do your own research and you figure it out what I'm going on. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 7. And this is directed specifically at Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve and all those that are in, his conglomeration. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. Think about that. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. Oh yeah. By the time y'all figure out why he really did this, a lot of y'all ain't going to be around to even understand why he did it. I'm going to show you why. And it's because of your own selfish nature why all this is going to happen. It's not possible that it's going to happen. It's for certain that it's going to happen. And this ain't conspiracy and all this. No, it's because of your own personal, selfish, self-entitled, privileged nature guarantees that all this is going to happen. All right, let's switch gears, and this is the meat of it right here. 2nd Esdras, which is also in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, now this is going to happen as a result of these rate cuts, and it's going to happen real fast. Behold, victuals or consumer goods shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they, you consumers, shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. That's 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. So by him cutting interest rates, all you got to do is look at the thumbnail. It's in a sense, it's like he just triggered Black Friday now all across this country. And it ain't going to just be for that day. It's going to be every store, everywhere that's selling any type of consumer goods, even gasoline, diesel, it doesn't matter. All consumer goods are going to be affected one way or another in this manner. And that's going to have an extreme impact on supplies, which in turn is going to have an extreme impact on demand. Try to keep it as simple as possible. All right. So when it says consumer goods shall be so good cheap upon the earth, look at the thumbnail. All of a sudden, all these people you've been hearing up to this point, I can't afford this and blah, blah. Now all of a sudden, when they see that magic word, SALE, or store closures, or going out of business, you're going to be amazed at how quick people that claim to be broke and don't have no money are going to be hitting these stores up like a plague of locusts. Them, the immigrants that are coming up in here, everybody. They're going to be hitting these banks and these teller machines up. And they, see, that's what the whole plan was right there. To call like a bank run, but it's even worse than that. Now all of a sudden, this is the last gold rush, so to speak, economically in this society before it all crash and burn. And this is going to be the reason why it all crash and burn right here. Almost like a fake stimulus. All of a sudden, everybody got money and go hit all these places up. And then the supplies dwindle and don't get restocked. Something to think about, right? Well, it can't happen in the United States. It's happening, and it's going to get worse. Watch this. 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. I told y'all in the previous video there wasn't going to be a harvest of food like you think it is. And we're in harvest season right now. These farmers, there's not a harvest like you think it is. And what little harvest that they are getting, getting all that stuff, it ain't enough for everybody that's in here. It's not. There's too many people in here, all by design. That harvest that they got this year is not going to feed everybody. So it's going to be on a first come, first served basis. You think I'm blind? Go hit up some of these food banks in your local area and you will see. All right. Watch this. The full storehouses or warehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. So whatever's in these warehouses and distribution centers and, this and that and the other, all that shit get ready to be depleted by this time next month. Because they're not going to be able to fill it back up fast enough for the level of demand that this rate cut has triggered. It's just not going to happen. And like I told you, it's all about it. At the end, the wickedness of why this was done will be declared to those that survive the ensuing chaos that's about to hit this place. You think Black Fridays are bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let's keep going. Let's look at Haggai chapter 1, verse 11. And I, see the Most High is behind all this. And I called for a drought or famine or shortages upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, see there, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth. I told y'all ain't getting a harvest this year, not a bountiful harvest that, you're accustomed to. I done told you this in previous videos. Not this year. And upon men. And upon cattle. Yep. All this hoof and mouth and all these other damn diseases coming out, and they killing all these cows off. It's all by design. Here's your blueprint right here. And watch this, the last part. And upon all the labor of the hands. That's Haggai chapter 1, verse 11. So if you're having all these store closures and going out of business, that means layoffs are going to work hand in hand. These stores are staffed by you and other people. Well, if they're shutting their doors and selling all that shit off at discounted prices, where are you going to work at? Well, I got 3 jobs. You're about to lose 2 of them within the next couple of weeks. That other one you got is not going to, foot the bill, bro. This is what we're getting at. So you celebrating all this and all that and everything. Check the homelessness situation in your local area and watch it start to increase dramatically. People living in their cars and riding around at rest areas and parking lots of Walmart and schools and libraries and other places and stuff. Yeah, you're going to be doing it too. Either that or you're going to be on the streets. I know from experience. Since this pandemic started, I know what it is to be homeless, traveling all the way across this country. Several cities, homeless. Didn't matter if it was cold outside, hot as hell, or anything in between, rain, sleet, or snow. It didn't matter. That's what all this is going to trigger. And I mean, it's just going to spiral out of control. And that's all by design. All right? Let's look at this. Let's really focus on this, a shortage of laborers of hands. I don't care how many we're hiring signs you see. They're going out of business. It's just that plain. Let's look at Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 3 through 4. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. What are the grinders? The grinders are the employees, the workforce. They've been dwindled down because their companies and corporations are offering 90% off sales, and they're going out of business. And it ain't just 1 or 2, it's all of them. Keep an eye on that stock market too. All right. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. Yep. You sitting at home wondering how you going to pay your utilities and your rent, and your car note, and all this other shit you got to pay. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. The doors to these businesses and companies and restaurants and everything are getting ready to be locked, because ain't nobody going to be in there when the sound of the grinding or industry is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All this happy, joy, and all this bullshit that's going on in this country and everything. People are not going to be so happy this coming holiday season. Hell, a lot of them ain't happy now. It's going to be even worse then. Count on it. That was Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 3 through 4. Let's look at Isaiah 19 and 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, Babylon, America. Because that's what it's coming down to. And because of mass layoffs, people getting fired, furloughed, whatever you want to call it. A whole lot of people are about to be unemployed because of all this, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. CEOs are going to be, filing bankruptcy. A lot of these politicians and high affluential people, you're going to even see nurses and people in the healthcare industry get their hours significantly cut at a time when there's going to be a need for them more than ever before. So you better do whatever you can to keep your health up and do all you can to try not to get injured, because if that happens, you might be dying in these waiting rooms in these hospitals and stuff because the staff is going to be reduced. Because they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills and everything. You know, October is just a few weeks away. And them student loans got to be paid too. I'm going to start taking payments out of their checks for that with interest. So he may have cut interest rates, you know, across the board, but these banks, they're going to stop loaning. They're going to start defaulting on a lot of these debts and loans and stuff. And people are going to be in trouble. I mean, to say the least. Now, we're going to switch this up and show you how all this is quickly going to culminate as a result of everything that I just showed you. Let's look at 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Woo! Yeah, all them mutual assistance groups that y'all formed and, you know, for your SHTF preparations and everything, y'all part of militia groups and church groups and cult and coven groups and, you know, people that work on social media have done formed all these groups and everything. Hey, when these resources get low, there ain't no more friends. It's all about survival and self-preservation. So a lot of people are going to be betrayed by the very people that they love, trust, hold dear, near and dear, and this and that. The other grew up together and, you know, work together or whatever it is. However you form these relationships, these are going to become your mortal enemies when shit start getting scarce around these parts. Count on it. And the earth shall stand in fear of those that dwell therein. Yep, it's going to be a whole lot of fear. People don't know where the next meal coming from, and they don't know who's going to stab them in the back next, and everybody going to become extremely paranoid and triggered and all. Well, most of you are already triggered anyway, but it's going to get worse. Let's look at 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 19. That's the last precept. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword or with weapons, or whatever weapons they're going to use, and spoil their goods. They're going to take your shit because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, which a lack of bread will cause. And that's 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 19. You know, you got people in your neighborhood while you out working all these jobs. Hey, will you watch the mail and everything? And if they deliver a package, would you get it for me? And I'll drop by and get it on the way home. That shit finna come to an end. They'll get the package. You ain't gonna get it. Them ring cams and stuff that y'all love to depend on, and all y'all thought that getting this extra layer of security, ADT and all these other companies, that, you know, you got this electronic sentry watching your property and stuff while you gone and on vacation. They cutting staff too. And not only that, but the people that are there, I keep saying this and I'm gonna keep saying this, good help's hard to find these days. People that are working and have jobs, lazy as hell. And then somebody, God forbid, somebody come in there that's actually got a good work ethic, they gonna work the shit out of you because they can't get no work out of all the rest of the sorry asses that are in there. All right? People gonna get burnt out real quick. I saw this during the pandemic. People that were still working in these restaurants and stuff like that, they were killing them. It's gonna be worse this time. Y'all done been sitting up here ordering up all this stuff on Amazon, Etsy, through the postal service or whatever. Well, you know, people around you been keeping an eye and keeping tabs on you and the amount of stuff that you've been having coming in. and you think you're being discreet about it, you're never discreet. As long as somebody else is around, they're always looking at what you have and comparing it to what they don't have. Keep that in mind, friend or foe. And this is the reality of it. So when resources start, disappearing and dwindling and supplies are no longer there, people are going to start remembering, wait a minute, you remember Joe around the corner was getting all them packages and everything? You're going to be the first one to get hit up. What did it say? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. So your bestie or whatever you want to call them going to be the one to rob you and potentially kill your ass. When they run out of resources or feel like, hey, it's not fair that you have all this shit and we don't. And both of you work at the same place and they probably make more money than you do, but at the same time, they waste more money than you do. Because they have a job, still stuck in that American dream mindset, and that never in the mindset of something like this happening, because they don't teach this in your dumbass Christian churches and they never will. So you people are uninformed. And your reality is based on what you see on the news as opposed to what's already been scripted in prophecy, which will come one contrary to the other. And that's the reason why all this hell get ready to break loose. And a lot of loss of life is going to ensue. You got El Tren de Aragua up here, as well as MS-13 and all these other people that have been allowed to come in here too. A lot of them, went on to own businesses, hotels, corner stores and stuff like that. All that shit's going to get hit up, man. Gunfire will erupt. With the most armed population on the planet, it's unavoidable. Because when a person feels like the people around them have more than them and they fear being on the streets, reactions are going to occur. All right? People's kids are going to get snatched up and held for ransom for resources. You women that love to run around here like you're so safe and free and strong and independent, yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see. A lot of y'all going to have to trick off to get shit that you could just easily pay for now. Yeah, you swear up and down, I never stooped to that level. Well, you ain't never had to be on that level in this society because you've been spoiled pretty much all your life, and that's why you're so entitled. Well, when other people feel like their resources are gone and they have nothing else to lose, they're going to feel entitled to what you got, and perhaps you too. You ain't gonna be able to rely on the police and all that, because look, they're gonna start cutting their numbers too. They're gonna deploy a lot of them. I done told y'all this before. They're gonna deploy a lot of these cops. And they're the only ones that can actually go into the military and pass the physical test and weapons training and all that. You're gonna see less and less and less police activity in your areas. That's only gonna encourage everything that I just showed you. Yes, sir. As somebody that was in New Orleans during Katrina, how quickly the police went from serving and protecting to looting and stealing and maybe killing too. All right? Y'all too spoiled. You done had it too easy, lazy as hell, and always wanting somebody else to do for you what you should be doing for yourself. Okay, well, they've been able to maintain that illusion up until this point. The Federal Reserve is not going to keep footing the bill to keep this bullshit going. All right? It's game over. The wagon train is, the wheels have fallen off of it. So now whoever was on that wagon train, on that gravy train, you got to get your ass out and do it. A lot of you young people, y'all not going to make it, because guess what? All these social media platforms, they get ready to start giving their asses the boot too. YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, all of them. Shit, they're going to be affected too. They get ready to start shutting their doors and shutting that shit down. And y'all know, y'all have to have that for y'all's daily therapy and this and that and the other. And, wanting people to stroke your little egos and all that. All your little narcissists. What y'all gonna do, man, when all that shit gets shut offline? People that work in these power stations in your local area and everything, they're gonna get affected too. So you're gonna start having rolling brownouts and blackouts. Eventually the shit just gonna go down and it's gonna stay down What y'all gonna do? It's getting cold outside. Shit, out here in the Southwest, it was down to 70 last night. Hell, you don't even need the AC at night no more. If you got ceiling fans or you got enough windows, open them and breeze will come in there. Do y'all have enough body fat to make it through the winter? You're in a situation when you can't start a fire because doing so gonna get you caught, get your position compromised, and perhaps get you killed. I mean, what contingency plans do you people have? Because and like I said, we're beyond the conspiracy horse shit. You know how you are. And everybody else around you is just like you or worse. That's why this is going to happen. Guaranteed. Because of y'all's self-entitled mentality. America done spoiled you, and, unrealistically, everybody wants everything right now. Nobody wants to wait for nothing anymore. If it don't happen within 10 to 15 seconds or a minute, people start going into meltdown mode. What you gonna do when you ain't had nothing to eat in about 4 or 5 days and no safe water to drink or soda or whatever it is you're doing? What y'all gonna do, man? And you got all these kids and no man, because you swore up and down you didn't need a man. Who gonna help you? Ain't no other woman gonna be out here helping women. Hell no. It's gonna be every person for themselves. A lot of these kids are going to be misplaced when this shit start popping off and the death toll start to rise. They're going to have to get out here and, try to survive too. Good luck to them on that. But I had to put this out there because ain't nobody else on social media going to talk about this like this. They're going to tell you everything else. They're going to go back through history. Yeah, remember when the Fed cut rates back in 19 whatever, or this, that, the other, and how it had an effect on the economy. Well, this time is completely different than all those other times. All right? So y'all need to head on the swivel. You need to, stop being so transparent about what you're doing and what you're bringing in your homes or apartments or whatever. Your ass is better to start being careful when you go out shopping, especially if you're buying a lot of stuff. You're going to be pulling up in the grocery stores, parking lots, or wherever, and there's going to be a lot of cars sitting out there with people sitting in them. You may not think nothing about it because you never had to. All is well until you come out and think you get ready to put all that stuff in your car. You just went shopping for somebody else. See, that's what I'm talking about. All this going out to eat and everything, people going to walk up and be asking for money. They're not taking no for an answer. You tell them no, you might die in a damn fist fight. People, a desperate motherfucker is a dangerous motherfucker. I'm trying to tell you, man. And the homeless situation is at an all-time. It's about to get much worse. All right, these shelters are full. The feds get ready to pull funding on all these homeless shelters and everything. So if you hadn't somehow at least secured you a lease for a few months to try to, wait this shit out, then you're going to be out there caught up in all that stuff. And if you're the type of person, well, I don't believe in weapons and everything, well, everybody else around you does. I just showed you. That's going to be how you get shit, by straight violence. The monopoly money is going away. The money supplies get ready to, money is going to be worthless. That's what it was talking about in Revelation chapter 6, where they talk about the rider on a black horse with a pair of balances in his hand. Talking about the measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. It's going to get to a point. Money is going to be so worthless. It's going to require an entire paycheck just to pay for something you could have paid a couple of dollars for. My question is, whose paycheck is going to be able to afford it? Yours, working at Circle K, or a neurosurgeon? See, these are things y'all need to start, considering, because we're there now. The announcement has already went out. The ball is already rolling. So we can only go one way from where we are now, and it ain't going to be pretty. So, like I said, I'm the voice crying in the wilderness because don't nobody else want to talk about this stuff and take you into the precepts and break them down in the prophecies and show you no matter what you see and hear in the news or hear otherwise, this is how it's going to happen. Guaranteed, because of you. Deuces.